What's going on, podcasters? It's Level 1 Woke Podcast, back with another episode. I'm your host, Joe, back with your returning co-host, Brandon. And yeah, so we got a little bit more information that we have been researching that we thought we should share with y'all. It's very interesting. I believe it's very interesting because it has to deal with every American citizen that was ever had a birth certificate, that was ever born in America. So what this episode is going to be about is basically about your straw man. It's going to be about Admiralty laws, sovereignty, and corporations, basically. And so there's really never been a time in history where any country has stood up to its government or its rulers and demanded freedom, natural freedom, right? It wasn't until America was established that everybody in America was basically born sovereign and promised sovereignty. And for people that don't know what sovereignty is, it's the quality of having supreme independent jurisdiction over your flesh and blood body and your human body and or territory. It has a lot to do. This episode has a lot to do with government. So just to let you know, what anybody should already know is the government is a man-made thing. It's a man-made corporation, and it could never be above man. That's why in every legal situation, the government will always ask for your consent. They need your consent. It's very important. And that's where your power really lies, in your consent.
And these are like the laws that they kind of implemented to get around that, right? Like to get around basically owning you.
It's laws basically to maneuver and to maneuver around that and persuade you into their world, basically, their law society. There's actually a law society that governs lawyers, police, Supreme Court judges, regular judges. There's a law society that they live under, that which they operate within. And this law society, they have their own language called legalese, which this language comes from Black's Law Dictionary, which governs this law society. So when I say they have their own language and it's called legalese, that means it's very, very similar to how we speak. It's deceptively similar to English, and the words are the same, but
just in different terms.
And their legal terms, and under this Black's Law Dictionary, which governs this law society, those terms they do mean something totally different. For instance, if you're pulled over by a cop or you're talking to an officer and they ask you, do you understand? Mm-hmm. Technically, they're not asking you, do you understand? They're asking you, do you stand under? Because Black's Law Dictionary, to understand means to stand under authority. So they ask you if you understand, which in turn means, do you stand under my authority? And when usually you say yes, you automatically enter a verbal contract with them that you had no idea about. And it's not like it's not the common person's fault, because it's not something that's researched much or looked into.
Common knowledge. A lot of this isn't common knowledge.
Yeah. And that's why it's about waking up. It's about level 1 woke, the first step to waking up.
Right.
Spread information, spread knowledge, and open your eyes to things that you haven't seen before, or maybe you have seen and you forgot about it and you want to go back and revisit that topic and research it and look into it again. And
So like
that's what we're here for.
So a lot of the stuff that like a police officer would tell you, their rundown of what they ask you and things like that. That's all put in words to confuse you, basically.
For sure,
it means something else.
They do have double meanings in our terms, regular people terms. It means something to us, but in legalese language, legal terms, it means something totally different. And this is how they get you into contracting yourself with verbal contracts and to misrepresent yourself and things of that nature. And it's commonly used by them. It's what it is it's maritime international banking language. That's exactly what it is. It's Admiralty maritime banking language. And for those who don't know what Admiralty law or maritime law is, we'll get into a little bit. Yeah. So what it is there are two things, basically two main elements that make up Earth, which is land and water, which everybody know in the world, the Earth is mostly water. So the law that governs land is called common law or civil law, which civil law and common law is adjusted to whatever land you're living in. It's the culture, the laws of that culture from them people. Mm-hmm. So that's how our laws are different from Canada's laws, and Canada's laws are different from Africa's laws. And you can do things in Europe that you can't do in Pakistan. You can do things in Afghanistan you can't do in Japan. That's because all governments, don't get me wrong, every single government on this planet they operate under common law. And the common law is just the laws created from the culture of the people living in that land.
Makes sense. Okay, I get what you're saying. You can't just go to any country and punch someone in the face. It's pretty much illegal everywhere.
Yes.
It's like a societal basis. Like you can't. Common sense. It's common sense laws.
Yeah, right? Basically. So that's common law, that's civil law, and usually civil law, you have to for civil law there to be a crime, there has to be a victim. And that's why when you get into court traffic tickets and driving violations, they really don't apply to the natural person, because
who's the victim?
There's no victim. There's no criminal act. There's no criminal act that has been committed. So technically, there's no victim. So technically,
you're breaking a societal kind of law. Right. Like if you keep running stop signs,
the law society laws, right? Not
you
ours.
Could potentially hurt somebody. So they're in place for societal reasons. Like if everyone was just running stop lines and
so a major misconception is that common people believe that every act or statute or anything like that is law that they have to live by, which is a very common misconception, which is wrong. They're not laws that you have to live by. They don't regulate you. You can't regulate a natural person. We have inalienable rights given to us by our creator, not a government. The government can't take them away. They can't give them to us. They're ours. Inalienable rights given to us by our creator. So what the government can do is list our rights. That's another another common misconception is people believe that the Constitution is made up of laws that we have to live by and acts that we have to live by and things of that nature. It's not. We don't. All the Constitution does is list the rights that you already have given to you by your natural creator. So, and all we can do with the Constitution is choose to invoke our rights. That's why when people are arrested, they say, "Do you know your rights? You want to use your rights?" That's all we can do is choose to use our rights or not. So,
but their rights, it's their rights. It's not really your rights. It's like wouldn't it be just their rights that they have written down for you?
Well, yeah. So, I mean, it gets into how All right, so the law of the land, like we're getting into, is civil. There has to be a criminal act. There has to be a victim for it to be a criminal act. That's how civil law works. All right. Now, the way that the law of the water works, that's what they call it. You can look it up. You can Google it. It's called the law of the high seas or the law of the water, which is Admiralty law, which is basically a body of laws or treaties that govern businesses, shipping, deliveries, merchant, which merchant comes from the word mer, which is a water word, mermaid. So it's all legal wordplay that is admiralty, maritime banking legal terms, and it's no coincidence that they deal in merchant and mer comes from water as a mermaid. It's not a coincidence or by accident or anything that these
Right. Weren't there early like merchants off of docks and things like that on the waterways?
Yeah, so anybody that deals in merchants or deals with these laws of maritime laws that govern, they're basically, like I was saying, they're basically laws and treaties that govern merchants, commerce, shipping, delivery, anything legally that takes place in the open seas or open water. These are the laws that govern the water, just how we have civil common law over the land. But somewhere along the way, these maritime laws have basically superseded the common law. And the way that our judicial system is set up, all our court systems, all our federal and state documents and systems are set up is they run off of maritime law. They run off of laws that govern the water. And it's a very slick and a very, fucked up kind of way how they got us, and without people really knowing about it. How we're sold as collateral and our bonds are sold off on the stock exchange.
It's all about money. Right?
Absolutely.
So they're taking they're implementing sea laws into these societal laws.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to make it corporate, like they're trying to make it, more. Because societal laws are
all right.
fairly.
So this is what you're saying. This is what you're getting into. All right, we have common law over land, and we have these admiralty laws, the law of the high sea over water, and this is how the laws of the water were able to supersede the common law, because in 1871 Congress they passed an act that provided a government, a separate and its own government for District of Columbia. And if y'all don't know what District of Columbia, it's a 10 mile square radius in Washington. That's called DC, Washington, D.C. That's District of Columbia. They operate under the law of society. They operate under their own laws. So the act, actually, it's referred to as the Act of 1871. You can Google that act and look it up. And it provided a single independent government for that 10 mile square radius, District of Columbia and Washington. And that 10 mile square radius are owned by foreign interests. They're owned by foreign bankers that would eventually come along and set up the Federal Reserve. And they've been manipulating wars since there has been wars and things like that. That's a whole nother topic. But yeah, they formed, when this act was passed in 1871, this foreign, I guess, group or foreign partners or groups or whatever it was. They established a corporation called the United States.
Is that
which people really get confused with the United States of America? But when that act was passed, when they passed that act, giving District of Columbia its own basically jurisdiction, its own laws, its own government, that in turn made the United States corporation, which basically made every citizen that's born in America an employee to this corporation. I mean, America's a corporation because just like McDonald's or Taco Bell or Hooters or IHOP, every corporation has a president and a vice president, and so does America.
right?
We don't have a king. We don't have any kind of leader. We have a president and a vice president. So all the nations have. It goes back to a Phoenician government, of ancient Phoenician law that predates when the Bible was interpreted from Hebrew and they thought that was Hebrew, is really Phoenician, and you can look that up too. And this is an old culture, old language, and this is where a lot of this comes from. So
how does that 10 square miles of like District Columbia? So they got that land, like that's like, this is where we're gonna run out of.
This is our area we're gonna run the country from.
Right. So then it just spread out to.
I mean,
every
so
state by state.
yeah. So by law, the legal systems can't deal with a human being because they don't govern us. We have natural laws. We have natural rights given to us by our Creator, inalienable rights that can't be taken away and they can't be given to us. They're already ours. We're born with them. So, so for the government to conduct business with, you, they have to create that corporate you, corporate coming from the word corpse meaning dead, non-existent. It's not real. It's not living. It's not a natural person. So they create this corporate you by signing and submitting your birth certificate. You're signing ownership of yourself over to your state or your federal government. So that's why the state can come and take your kids. Believe it or not, if they don't like the way you're raising them, they can come and take your kids and it not be considered kidnapping because you signed that birth certificate.
You signed that right away, right?
Yeah, signing a birth certificate, because they're supposed to be registered within, I think, 2 weeks and 3 days of a child's birth. By signing that, you gave your child away and all your rights to your child by signing and submitting your birth certificate.
Well, and this is how they trap you. So if you don't sign that document, your kid can't go into school, right? You have to have a birth certificate for everything. You can't get a job.
They basically own us. They own us. They own everybody that's ever got a birth certificate. You can't do shit. Like, you gotta. All right, we are the only species on the face of this planet that has to pay to live on it.
Yeah.
The only one.
That's what's crazy to me is, you sign that document. Your parents signed that document.
Mm-hmm.
And literally giving your entire rights away. Like I said, you can't function in today's world without those.
So that's why they incorporated this maritime law over land. That's how it was incorporated by the Act of 1871, and they did it because they can't deal with natural persons. They have no jurisdiction over you, so they have to incorporate this maritime law, this maritime strategies to have jurisdiction over you. And like I said, maritime operates out of water, so you're wondering how does it work? How do they have jurisdiction over you if these are if these are water laws? So I'm going to break it down to you.
Yeah.
So what happens by law, and you can look this up, every ship that sails is a female. It has a female name. It's a female. Look into it. It's third eye opening shit.
Yeah. And then they say it's bad luck to not have a female name or something, right? Like there's a superstition built around that.
And it probably doesn't, but that was probably put there for a reason. But
I'm not saying it has anything to do with this. I just kind of connected those two dots.
Yeah. All right. So every ship is a female, right? Has a female name.
Yeah.
So Admiralty law deals with commerce, deals with shipping. So basically, let's say Japan is shipping 300 cars to America, Mitsubishis, whatever they are. Even though I haven't seen one of those around in a while. Do they even make those anymore? Any model of Mitsubishi being made?
I don't think so.
Somebody email us and let us know, because
Mitsubishi
I don't got time to look that shit up.
They make TVs now or some shit.
I think they do. Plasmas, so that's a dead product. They're making plasmas still.
They're still making plasmas.
People in other countries need plasmas, bro. Don't hate.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So, yeah, this is how these laws work. These water laws, these Admiralty maritime laws work over land now. So every ship is a female ship, has a female name. So this ship is carrying a product, cars from Japan, 200-300 cars over here. So typically a ship will go through a canal, through the port, and dock.
Right, and when they leave that port, isn't it called a berth?
No. So what they do, you're close. It's right around there.
It's something like that.
All right. Okay. So what they do is they come through a canal, they go through the port, they dock. Now, The ship wasn't there yesterday. So the first thing the captain has to do is show a certificate of manifest. I wasn't here yesterday, so I have to show you why I'm here today. I have to show you why. And not only that, the word captain coming from a Latin word capital, which capital in Black's Law Dictionary that governs this whole topic, that means money. It's
Captain's running the show.
Captain means capital. Capital is money. It's an asset. And so the captain docks his ship. Consequently, he has to show a certificate of manifestation of how he's there, why he's there, and how he appeared out of nowhere. So his certificate of manifestation is basically an inventory list of a product. So let's say there's one red Mitsubishi. So that receipt or certificate is basically a certificate, because Black's Law Dictionary states that anything that's labeled a certificate is
It's like legal property.
It's property. It's labeled, anything with a certificate is labeled property, someone's property. So that's legal terms. Black's Law Dictionary. You can look this up, Google it. We urge you to.
Everything that's manufactured has one of these receipts, or where it was made, the day it was made, everything. The manufacture date, when it was produced.
Whether it's a birth certificate or a warehouse receipt.
Yeah.
But that's exactly how it happened. And so, like I said, the ship docks. It shows documentation on where it came from and why it's there. It may have a bunch of cars. Each car, one car individually, which say what kind of car it is, what color it is, why it's there. It would have a receipt number or a certificate number or a registration number.
Certificate, yeah.
And the same things your birth certificates have. They have certificate and registration numbers. And so yeah, and so you would have to present, your documentation on why you're here, why you manifested here. So that's why they put the Statue of Liberty in water and not on land, because we're not free. This is not a free country. It's not the land of the free. We have liberty. They give us liberties, like driving is a privilege, and they can take that away from you. But you have an inalienable natural right to travel without having your car registered or without having a license. And there's a lot of court cases and legal battles that you can look to get this information from. And a lot of people use these strategies and implement these laws to get off of a lot of traffic violations, because you have the natural right to travel. They get you by saying you're driving. It's a legal term. You're driving. You're operating a vehicle. You get them by saying I wasn't driving. I was traveling. I have a natural right to travel.
That's so funny.
Yeah, and that's exactly how it works. So,
all right, you could implement this in your everyday, but you're gonna
everyday
get harassed
life
every day, though.
You would be, and there are people that do it. You can look it up, and they're out there. And you can watch videos of them and documentaries on them. They do it, and they are harassed. Basically, the cops will pull you over. You have no tag, no registration, no license. The cops will pull you over. They'll harass you for 30, 45 minutes, even though by law they're not supposed to keep you there longer than 15, 20 minutes. However it takes for them to run your tag and issue a ticket, they're not supposed to keep you there no longer than that. But yeah, basically you ride around like this, and the cops will just bug you every now and again. They might radio to your friend, hey, stop this guy and bug him, just because they're threatened by the fact that they don't have authority over you. They don't have jurisdiction over you, the person. When they say, do you understand? You're supposed to have a license. Nah, I don't understand. I don't stand under you at all. I'm not submitting my rights and my jurisdiction to you. I'm not stepping down to a level as a corporation, which is what you're considered at birth, is a corporation.
So so the whole reason is because there's no money to be made off as someone who lives like that.
Yeah, they can't tax a natural person. They can't make money off of it.
You
and those that think they don't make money off you, I'll get into it how absolutely they do.
Off of everything you agreed to pay for.
What were you saying though? About a car?
So say you bought a car, you just bought it off somebody. You decided not to get your tag, you decided not to register it or do any of the normal stuff or insure it or anything like that, and you rode around like that, you could use this law to kind of get out of it? Or that's what I'm curious about is like, how do you ride around with none of that? You bought a car. That's it. I have the bill of sale because maybe I want to sell it later or something.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't have your registration. You didn't have your insurance. You didn't have a driver's license, but you're just traveling. They can get away with it even to that level, is like that far.
Yeah, I mean, the government has no natural right over you. Like I was saying, they can't deal with the natural person you. That's why they implemented these Admiralty laws over land so they can conduct business with you. It's basically a word magic, a word spell to get you to submit to verbal contracts of giving your legal natural born rights away so they have jurisdiction over you. Once they have jurisdiction over you, they can then perform or conduct business with you. Yeah,
because your driver's license costs money. You're registering your vehicle costs money.
Everything
to get
has
a license plate costs money.
Everything has a monetary gain that has to do with America. If they couldn't make money off you, they wouldn't let you be here. Plain
That's
and
how
simple.
I'm looking at this. Is all these little things that they do to make as much money as they possibly can.
So this is how the laws govern you. Like I was saying. All right, a dock. Every ship is a female name. It brings merchant, commerce, whatever is dealing with product. It comes through a canal through the port. It docks. It shows documentation on why it's there. Now let me tell you how this parallels with you as a person, as an individual person. So, first of all, maritime law deals with water. Your body is made up of over 60-70% water, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
All right, just like the earth, just like the world is made up of mostly water, so is our body. We're made up of mostly water. All right, this is how they try to get slick and implement these laws over you. Your body's made of mostly water, right? When you're in your mom's womb before she gives birth, you're in water. What is the common thing that has to happen for you to be here? What happens to initiate the pregnancy?
She has to give birth to you.
No. What happens before she gives? How do you know she's getting ready to give birth?
Oh, because
What happens? Her water breaks. Yeah. All right, so her water has to break. So now you're ready to come out of the water. So when you come out of the water, consequently, you're coming out of her birth canal, just like any female ship bringing a product goes through a canal. So you're coming out of the birth canal to the doctor, just like you're going through a canal to get to a port to show documentation. So you come out, you're born, you come out of her birth canal to the doctor, which then he signs the documentation, which is very similar to a warehouse receipt or a product receipt. And it's no coincidence, like I was saying, that all this wordplay matches up like this. These people,
it really is how
they really fuck you. This is how they fuck you over, and they do this shit on purpose. Like it's not a coincidence. It's just
that's crazy to me. You keep just the whole birth certificate thing and how it's like you look at it, you think about it, you are a product for them.
So, like I was saying, Black Laws Dictionary, anything with a certificate is referred to as a product that's being owned. So, from your birth, you're a product or of slavery or of being owned. I mean, it's right there, and fucking do a little research, scratch the surface. You don't have to even dig deep for this shit. It's not a lot of info out there because a lot of people don't know about it, but it's there. People know about sovereignty. I believe Ron Paul, that was trying to end the Fed, that was his whole slogan in 2008 when he was running for president, or 2012, whenever it was, end the Fed, end the Federal Reserve. That was his slogan for running. And he got
I'll get you killed.
He got a lot of media coverage shut out that he should have had, and they wasn't covering him, and they were trying to, destroy his name, and they definitely helped for him not being elected or not being a runner-up or
when the media is owned by 6 corporations,
and those corporations probably own or have interest in the Federal Reserve.
Are all owned by George Soros. They can put out whatever the hell they want.
All right. So when you're born, you get born, and you come out your mom's birth canal, and then you show the documentation. He fills it out, and then. By filling out and submitting your birth certificate, you're unknowingly giving, like I was saying, giving the rights away, your rights away as a person, your natural free rights as a person, as your children. That's why they don't like the way you're raising your kids. They can come and take them from you if they want. DCF, it's in Florida. It's called DCF, Department of Correction Family or whatever. But it's how the shit works. Even if you even if you're crazy and you think of harming yourself, they'll Baker Act you. You have no control over. They have the ultimate control over you. They can take you and put you in a crazy hospital and Baker Act you because you signed over consent at birth and your parents signed over consent at birth. All right, if anybody hasn't ever recognized this, your birth certificate, your social security card, look at your driver's license that's in your wallet or your pocket right now, your ID, any federal, state document has your name written in all capital letters. Do you know why? Because just like anything else that deals in all cap, this is actually called, it's a weird Latin term, capital dominus maximus or something like that. Yeah. All right. So it's about how they trick you with these all capital things. And so just like when you're born, they got the laws over you because you're mostly made of water. That's how these maritime law works over you. And they get capital from you, liquid capital from you, because they take out loans from the Federal Reserve when you're born. So, and they invest these loans in stock markets. And so you're basically liquid capital.
And you're paying all that back for them technically by paying your taxes.
Yeah, your taxes basically pay off the loan that Uncle Sam took out on you when you were born. Right. Because each citizen is born with a debt already. A birth certificate is a receipt of debt. That's all it is. Like they use your birth certificate as collateral to get a loan from the Federal Reserve on you, and they invested in stock markets. China might own you. You never fucking know. They might have a part in owning you.
Could they sell you to like, hey, we have this certificate.
They don't really sell you. They just they have stocks on you, and they have, because they get money from it's based off of future tax revenue. So whatever money you generate for them, they start getting some of that money from your taxes, from you paying taxes.
Right.
You might pay fucking your whole life. You might pay $3-4 million worth of taxes.
Shit, they take it out every week.
Exactly. And I think you only get 50. I was about to put Jameson in with that, but I'm not gonna do that. I think you only get 54%. I know you work like 4 months for free, and like the rest of it goes to taxes, and the rest of it goes to you. But if I'm not
4 months a year,
yeah,
or your entire life,
3 or 4 months out of your, all right, whatever. If you get 50,000 a year, right? 4 months worth of work was what you pay in taxes. So basically, you don't get paid for 4 months because that's how much you pay in taxes every year. That's how much your taxes add up to, like 3 or 4 months of work. So that's why back in the day, before this Federal Reserve Act was passed and all that, before the income tax was passed and all that, that's why the mother was a stay-at-home mom and the dad didn't have no problem working and made enough money because he wasn't paying 4 months of taxes every year. So you can imagine how much extra money that is. Like, I don't know, they take $300-$400 a week out of my paycheck in taxes. Like, that's ridiculous.
Yep.
Like, to be a single person and them to take that much?
Single person with,
so they can generate revenue off you, and that's why you're created as a corporation. That's why your name is written in all capital letters on all federal and state documents. Look at your birth certificate, whatever's closest to you, your ID, your driver's license. It's written in all caps, just like any other corporation I was saying is written in all caps, and that's the only way to identify the natural person and be able to separate them from the corporation is that all caps. And they even trick you with it, like when you go to court and they ask you, are you this person or that person? You're saying yes, but you're really answering yes to a person that a corporation that's written in all caps.
Corporation,
not the natural you. So then once you say yes, you're verbally, unknowingly entering into a contract with them where they have jurisdiction over the natural person now, because you already said you are this corporation and you're legally representing them. So this is how maritime law works and how it's governed over court systems, and every legal system on the planet works this way. And so when you go into a courtroom, there's people back there judging you. There's a jury, and then there's the judge, and the judge is wearing a robe, and why is it even called courtroom right? Because tennis is played on a court, basketball is on a court, tennis is on a court, and tennis is what? It's played with a racket because it's a racket. So you go to court, and usually it's an all wooden setup. You got wooden barriers between you and the judge. You got a little wooden gate you got to walk through. So when you walk down that aisle and through that wooden gate, technically that signifies you boarding a ship. So then they can conduct maritime business with you, maritime laws, and basically control you, the natural person, because you submitted.
In the outcome.
You unknowingly submit into a contract when you walk past that little wooden gate in a courtroom that flings open, because that signifies you boarding a ship. Now, you can look this up. There's people that conducted court cases behind that stand, like not walking past that wooden barrier because they didn't want to submit themselves into a contract, and judges let them do it. You can look it up. There's video of it.
Well, if you look at it too, where like behind where the jury sits, that little like fence, it does look like the side of an old ship.
For sure. And not only that, the judge operates from the bench. The bench is bank in Latin. And why does the judge operate from the bench? Because I believe it was like the old Latin markets, the money handlers sat on the bench. And consequently, that's exactly what the judge is doing. He's just the money handler. He's the captain. He's the controlling the capital, the money, the currency. Every court case has a monetary gain, a monetary value.
Yeah,
he don't give a fuck who wins or who loses, who goes to jail or not. He's getting paid either way. He's there to referee because it's on a court. He's there to referee the monetary gain and make sure it gets settled and paid. And then when he does, he's on to the next one.
It's down to even their clothes, right? So they wear those black like robes.
Why else wear a robe?
Right. And
he's a referee.
He's a reffing.
And
because it gets back in the day too, they wore those robes, those bankers.
Oh yeah. This didn't start in America. These laws and these were picked up and implemented from other laws and things like that. So paying taxes, getting a driver's license, registering your car, paying fines, and other court things, attending court, they're all optional. And they basically con you into doing these things. All statute, all acts are optional. They're not laws that you have to live by. But once you submit that birth certificate, which every birth certificate, look it up, grab your birth certificate. It is written on American banknote. It's written on a banknote. It has a registration number.
That shit's crazy.
And you're registered. Fuck. You're registered from birth. And if y'all are asking,
look up a banknote and then look up your birth certificate. They're gonna look very similar.
Just like a warehouse receipt. They're very similar to a warehouse receipt that comes over on these
it's all the same
these warehouse certificate that comes over on these ships from dock. Like I was saying, it's no accident the wordplay is set up like that. It's no coincidence that the dealing in the courtroom basically parallels the ship and Admiralty law. The docking of a ship parallels your birth, because just like any ship that's docking, it deals in commerce. It's bringing money. So your birth has to deal in commerce. It has to deal in money. And if anybody's wondering like how this was possible, because you're like, oh, you're telling us a lot of stuff and you're telling us about the laws and how that got implemented, but how is the money? Where does the money come in? Like, how does that? So for anybody that don't know, around 1913, America, the United States, was low on cash. It was like after the end of World War I, wartime, just the cost of war just depleted the treasury. We were fucking broke. We had no money. The economy was slipping. There was a few really big financial panics. And so the country, what they needed to do is they needed to print money. They needed to print more money that they had, but they had to do it as equity to like restore the confidence in the money supply and get the economy back on its feet.
They had nothing to back that up.
Well, it's not that they didn't have nothing to back it up. It's just they needed to reassure the money supply and get the economy back on its feet. But it's not that they didn't have nothing to back it up. There wasn't in 1913. All right, so if me and you need a loan, we go to the bank. We take something known as collateral, and we get a loan. So the same thing with America. They needed collateral. They needed to go to the loan They needed to go to the bank to get a loan. They needed collateral. But the thing is in 1913 there wasn't no bank for the United States to borrow money from. So that's when the Federal Reserve Act was passed. The Federal Reserve Act established a central Federal Reserve Bank in America that's ran by private interests, private bankers, foreign, not of this country. So the Federal Reserve Bank is not a U.S. Yeah, for sure. Rothschilds, Illuminati, all those fucks, J.P. Morgans, Rockefellers, all of them. So it's made of a bunch of fucking cocksuckers that are foreign to this land that basically buy out every politician that you see, Obama, Trump, all of them. Maybe not Trump because he got his own money, so he probably don't need to be bought out. I'm not a Trump supporter, but I'm just saying maybe not Trump. But yeah, they buy these motherfuckers. They get them in the office, and these motherfuckers do what they want them to do. Yeah, and that's how it's always been. That's how the Federal Reserve Act was passed.
Our president is nothing but just a puppet for
with a hand up his ass.
With a hand up his ass,
making him do whatever. He likes that shit.
Someone is making him dance.
He's probably used to having a comb up, brush up his ass.
Real quick, I just
fuck anal beads. He needs a brush. Hard bristle brush.
I just googled, like a banknote, which would be like a dollar bill, right? Mm-hmm. Go look at your birth certificate. It's kind of got the same designs around the edge.
I am not lying.
It's got the same style as like a dollar bill. It's that same kind of symbols and
it is
the artwork, I should say.
It is definitely a banknote.
Look at it.
All right. So what happened was, like I was saying,
sorry, I had to throw that in there because I'm looking at it.
No, they need to know this so they can check into it. So the government needed a bank to take loans out to. So they didn't have a bank. So I'm going to do a whole nother episode on how the Federal Reserve was established and how it was passed and who it was established by. It's just not enough time. Even if I do a 2-hour podcast on this, it's not enough time to get into the Federal Reserve. That's a whole 2 to 4 hour episode too. Thing. All right. So they passed the Federal Reserve Act. It established a private central bank, foreign interest owners in America. And this bank basically regulated the amount of money that we can borrow and put into circulation. So in 1913, the Federal Reserve Act was passed. At that time, America started taking loans out from this bank because that's why we passed that. We needed loans. So after about 20 years of taking loans out from this bank, shit just got bad. Like shit really hit the fan. They were fucking shit up. The bankers were manipulating stock markets and shit like that for us to crash and go broke. And that's exactly what happened in 1933, 33 being a Masonic number, a secret society number, very known secret society number. Look it up. The connections between 33 and secret societies or Masonic numbers and symbols. 1933, it got really bad. Franklin D. Roosevelt was the president. We filed for bankruptcy. Once we filed for bankruptcy, this privately owned bank, they basically had the upper hand on us, and they demanded their money, all their money that we owed them. And all right, so when a bank demands their money and you don't have it, what do you do as a person? You can't really do nothing. They keep your collateral, really. So when that act was passed and they demanded their money from Franklin D. Roosevelt, he responded in the only way that he could, really, and that was putting every human being that's ever born and ever birthed in America up for collateral for this bank based off of future tax revenue. Like I think every person at birth is like estimated 600 to 750,000, and this was 30-40 years ago. We're probably up to like worth 2 to 3 million now in taxes. So that's what it's based off. They take out loans based off of your future tax revenue, and then they take these loans and invest them on the stock market and shit. So
you should go in about how if you kill someone and you're in jail and you're on death row.
What were some of those questions you wanted to ask me? One was about like some type of freedom or not being. I was talking about the laws, and you were saying one of them was really good.
Well, just making me think like.
And I said I wanted to answer that one for sure.
If you lived using this, like not going against the grain, not and
all right. That's not the one I was looking for. One that I definitely told you to save. It was a good question. I didn't want to give it away to you while we were speaking before the podcast. It was something about
Yeah, I'm saying, but
all right. This is all right. I kind of remember the answer I wanted to say. He probably don't remember the question or which one it was, but for sure, it was somewhere along the lines of laws and liberty and freedom, and he was saying something about this is just an example of how these laws are, how they work now, and how they used to be. All right. So back in the day, in the Western times, before 1871, before this act was passed, you could be at a bar, you could be drinking, you can get in a fight with a guy, right? Any guy. And you could go outside and draw on each other and shoot each other in front of a sheriff's office, wherever you wanted to. Because before 1871, you were sovereign. You had sovereignty. So you could do that. Now you don't. That's why there's all these laws and acts that prohibit you from doing that. Florida has a stand your ground law that's something close to, all right, you can go out there as long as it's in self-defense. But back then it wasn't self-defense. It was a mutual understanding that we're both going to go out and draw, and whoever wins, wins. Whoever dies, dies. You don't get arrested for that. That's how we were sovereign back then. And like you said, now I remember what you're saying. You were asking about how it would be chaos. That's why it was called the Wild West.
Right.
Wild, Wild West. And that's why they had to get it under control. That's why these bankers came in and passed these laws and treaties that they did, and we're no longer born sovereign. We no longer have the jurisdiction over our own person and our natural body. And that's how we can't go outside and draw on somebody, long as it's a mutual thing and not get in trouble for it. Back then we could.
If you had a beef, you could go do a draw. It was a duel, and you settled it right.
Like, yo, I like your girl. She's cute, so let's go outside. If I kill you, I'm leaving with this bitch. Like, I'm taking her, or whatever it was. If he stepped on your shoe in the bar,
you cheated in this poker game. We're gonna go outside.
Yeah, shit. Exactly. You took his shot. You drank his beer while he wasn't looking, or some fucking crazy shit. They were shooting each other over shit. They were drawing on each other. Like, it's dead ass. But you were sovereign. You were allowed to. Now you don't have any of those rights. You can't do that. This ain't the land of the free and the home of the brave. We're not fucking brave. You want to be brave? Stand up to this shit and do something about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, look into it, research it, and fucking start signing petitions, or start fucking protesting or some shit. So we're not fucking brave. We're not free. We have liberties. That's why liberty is in the water. Statue of Liberty is in the water. Yeah. And we don't have freedom. Like a sailor. When a sailor pulls in through canal and port and goes to the port, their captain, meaning capital, dealing in money, gives them liberties. They have liberties to go on land. They don't have any rights. They don't have any freedom to do anything because they're not from here. They have liberties. And that's exactly how it works. That's why the Statue of Liberty is in water. It's mind-opening shit. I mean, it's mind-opening shit if you think about it.
It's fucking crazy.
For sure. So, I mean, basically, like I was saying, every citizen / corporation / legal fiction, strawman, whatever you want to call it, is given a number at birth. Usually it's the red number on your birth certificate. That's how you identify it and you look into it. It's the red number on your birth certificate, which basically is like your parents signing ownership of you over. And the original birth certificate is like a neutralization record for U.S. citizens on file, like in the official records in Washington, D.C. They're basically property or assets of U.S. citizens pledged as collateral for the nation's debt. That's exactly the correct analogy for it, and that's how it works.
But here's the thing. It's like, even in today, how society is and shit, you couldn't live like that anymore because it's not the Wild West. We're way more populated.
It's not about, they want you to think we need the structure to live. We can live the same way, but with less rules and regulations. That's the problem with big governments. That's why fuck big governments and fuck the United States government. Like, that's the problem with big governments. They start implementing all these strategies and all these tactics and all these laws and statutes, and which really they don't fucking apply to you. They only apply to those living within the law society. And we're natural persons. But once you register your birth certificate, you're a citizen in that law society, so they do apply to you. But naturally they shouldn't. And naturally, that's why people that give like natural home births and don't register their kids until a certain time, you can get some type of private citizenship. And people ride around with private tags on their car because you're not. I believe the legal term for like driving, you don't need registrations, you don't need driver's license, you don't need none of this to operate your vehicle. As long you have the natural right to travel, and that's the term you should use. Is you start using terms like we're driving and I'm operating a motor vehicle and stuff like that, that's where they get you on legalese. And all right, so you just already admitted into a verbal contract that this is what you're doing. No, you're traveling. You have the natural right to travel. Driving, and by Black's Law Dictionary, driving also deals in commerce or products and things like that. So for you to be registered to drive, you have to be basically driving somewhere to make a sale or driving or delivering a product. If not, you don't fucking need a license. You don't need a registration. You don't need none of that.
Yeah, I mean, who's delivering shit unless you're working a job, going to your friend's house? Why would you need a license? It's all about it all boils down to tax you.
You're a corporation. You're in all caps. I mean, no name is written in all caps. Names are any proper noun name is first letter capitalized, the rest in lower caps. And I mean that's legally right and grammatically right. Like you don't write like that. It's just not how we write, and it's designed to appeal to certain people and certain people to understand it and certain people not to understand it. And it's just like the birth certificate corporation is like the birth certificate is basically a corporation whose company name is as your real name appears as yours, but it's not. Like I was saying, it's in all capital letters. It's a collateral for the money that Uncle Sam borrowed. It's on a banknote. It's written on a banknote, I mean, it's just crazy. It's a bond, you know. You can get bonds on it. It's a banknote that you can take out bonds on, and a bond is just a formally written agreement to fulfill an obligation of a contract. So basically, I'm saying I'm gonna pay you. This bond that I'm taking out is saying I'm gonna pay you for the money that you borrowed. And
so you can function in normal society right now by implementing these laws. Your everyday, you would get harassed every day, like we said, but
for sure,
you really would. You drive around with no tag on your car, you're gonna get pulled over.
Yeah, nonstop. It's
gonna be a big old scene if a cop pulls you over and you're like, I was just traveling. I'm traveling. For sure.
And these assholes like to radio. Trust me, I was leaving Colorado, and I was coming through Kansas, taking 70 East or whatever it was. And, I mean, I was stopped in Kansas. They wanted to search my car. I knew my laws, and they tried to, trick me in. I was on Facebook Live. They tried to trick me into, unlawfully search my car. I wouldn't let them. The cop was still trying to talk to me. I got in my car and drove off because the business that conducted the traffic stop was already complete, and now he wanted to ask me extra questions, which I just got in my car and drove off. And when I went back to my car, he followed me. He's like sticking his head through my window. I'm driving off with his head through my window. My homeboy's like, what the fuck is going on? Why are we leaving? I'm like, because he gave me my warning. Legally, I ain't got to stay here no longer. And we drove off. He got in his car, skirted off, mad as fuck, because he pulled us over. We were going into a gas station, so all I did when I pulled off was pull into the pump that was in front of me because I was gonna get gas. Right. And yeah, he got mad, and he radioed ahead, and not even 10 minutes later we were pulled over again. So like he was saying, this gives them the right to fuck with you, but legally they have no jurisdiction over you and can't issue you.
It's fucked up because they sit there right on the border of Colorado and like Kansas, New Mexico, and wait for people to leave the state because they know that that shit's
pot's legal over there. Yeah.
It's legal over there, and it's fucked up because when my brother and I drove out of the state, it was the same thing. You saw a cop, and then they were looking for out of state fucking tags.
For sure.
See a Florida tag?
Yeah.
Going through Kansas,
foreign car
coming
foreign car
coming from Colorado.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, fuck those guys, fucking assholes. I was hot too because the second time they stopped me, they did illegally search my car. I didn't want to put time and effort into doing anything further, but we were recording. I did on video. I said I don't condone any search because they didn't give me probable cause, which any traffic stop has to do with stop and frisk laws. And if they don't have probable cause of you committing a crime, or if they don't see you committing a crime or have evidence of you committing a crime, they really cannot pull you over. And for a crime to be committed, there has to be a victim. In traffic stops, there are no victims. Look at the legal terms for crime in a Black Laws Dictionary that govern these law societies. There has to be a victim. And in traffic violations, they give you, like, you have the right to travel, but what you do when you sign your birth certificate over, you're submitting your rights. You're lowering your status to that of a corporation, which in Black Laws Dictionary, a corporation is defined as a legal fiction, artificial persons. Corporations are now defined as persons. In that same law dictionary, they define persons as legal fictions that are created by a state or federal government.
Right. My question is,
it's fucking mind-boggling, bro.
The traffic stop thing, do they use it how we were talking about before, like the societal laws? A traffic stop, there's no real victim, but is it because there potentially could be?
But no, that's when the traffic stop, they could write you a ticket. But if you look up videos and do some research in court cases, you can find court cases where people beat all these charges, traffic stops, via using their natural citizen. And they challenge. What they do is when you go into court, you can challenge the jurisdiction of the judge. Like I was saying, you don't have to cross that barrier and enter into their ship. And if you look at the court, look up Miami courthouse boat aerial view. Look up an image, and the Miami courthouse is shaped as a boat. If you think I'm lying about these Admiralty and these water laws, like superseding common laws and land laws, look it up. They're putting it right in front of your face. Aerial view. It's constructed as a ship, and every ship is a female.
Inside and out,
yeah,
like you said.
For sure. Inside and out.
The courtroom is wood. You
walk down the little walkway and go through the little gate, and that's how you do when you board a ship or cruise ship or anything. It signifies you boarding a ship, so they can then conduct maritime laws with you and have jurisdiction over you. And that's how they get you, because you don't know about it, and you get like suckered into this shit, and it's really fucking crazy, bro.
Man.
It's a lot to take in, yeah.
It's a lot to take in. It's a lot to think about.
Brandon he don't know a lot about this topic, just from, I guess, the common knowledge that's out there, just from scratching the surface. But this is something that I knew a little bit about. I'm actually writing a lecture on it, which I didn't want to give too much of my lecture away, so I didn't go straight down the line. I'm not really saying my lecture. But yeah, this is a topic that I'm passionate about, and I'm passionate about anything that has to deal with, natural person's freedom and liberties and what we think are liberties, but shit really don't apply to us, and we shouldn't have to deal with it. And if we can get a large enough awakening, like we can cause some trouble for this government, this big government, this United States corporation with your presidents and your vice presidents that every corporation has. And we can break their spells and their word binary codes and that type of shit. And what they were saying, like the original purpose for the birth certificate was like tax purposes and to determine the available military manpower. So we basically want to have a count for everybody. That's what they tried to say. But of course,
kind of like a census.
This is how these bankers work that get laws passed. They passed that one. They passed the law of 1871 that gave District of Columbia its own, government. And then 20 years later, they passed another law like the birth certificate, which the birth certificate is originally a Nazi concept. Look into this shit. We're fucking governed by Nazis. Either way, the birth certificate is a Nazi concept. It started in Nazi Germany.
Operation Paperclip. That shit's coming soon.
Operation Paperclip coming soon for these Nazi fucks. But yeah, so I mean, the birth certificate is a Nazi concept. That right there. I mean, not only that, the birth certificate is evidence of fucking debt from the day you're born. Just look at it, like name in all caps, receipt numbers and certificate numbers, and
It really is. Like seriously, go Google, go look at a dollar bill, then go look at your birth certificate. It's the same.
For sure.
Thing.
And your state, federal government, it's all of them deal in it. You can tell by every time you get a bill or you get, jury duty or summoned to court or a court
your
ticket, you're straw man. Your name is either in all caps or in a title like Mrs. and Misters, because they can't deal with, that's the corporate you. The corporate, like I said, coming from corpse meaning dead, cease to exist. It's not alive. From the day you're born, it's created when you're born, and it sounds like you, and on paper it looks like you, but it's not really you. And this is real, and you can look it up. There's information that you should look up.
It's you on paper. It's not you here and now, flesh and blood. It's
absolutely.
It's the only way that they can control a free thinking person.
Yeah, so
just because people are free thinking, and
more and more people are trying to wake up and become more conscious. We all need to wake up and become more conscious to everything that's going on.
It's almost like a trick. Like they trick you into it. It's like, oh, you came to this hospital, you had your baby here.
It's exactly what it is.
You have to sign this paper.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. And they're statutes and they're acts, but they're not laws, so you don't have to. And that's what a lot of people don't know.
Okay, so
but there are
people think that
there are people that go through a process where they don't register and don't do stuff like that. And you can find those court cases and you can find those videos and stuff like that.
They do it as an adult though, but like doing it as a kid, going and trying to go to a public school.
Yeah, there is a process that you can reclaim your natural rights, your natural freedoms.
Be like a natural citizen.
Yeah, it's called sovereign. But you don't want to say that's where so once people figured out how to become sovereign, the legalese always tricks you. So they start calling them sovereign citizens, which anything labeled a citizen is an employee of the American corporation. So no, you're not a sovereign citizen. You're a sovereign human. You're a sovereign natural person. So it's like, all right, we found a way to get through your loophole. We're sovereign again. No, you're not, because you're calling yourself a citizen. So now we got to fix it to be sovereign people and not citizens. So when you refer to yourself as a sovereign citizen, you're going to end up giving jurisdiction over yourself to them again.
So you're telling me if you have a good enough lawyer, you can get away with some shit with this?
For sure.
Not saying really getting away, but
shit that you don't have to have I've seen documented cases where people represented themselves, challenged the jurisdiction of the judge, made sure that he was acting as a judge and not a banker, because that's what they're there for. Every court case has a monetary value, and he's just there to referee the game played on the court, because it's a court,
Okay, so say you won a case like that in court. And you're like, oh, I'm a natural citizen.
I think I'm going to need another drink for this one.
Natural citizen. I'm a natural citizen. This doesn't apply to me. The corporation, Andy did this.
Joe, but yeah.
Yeah, so,
Well, what you do is you don't submit into the verbal contract. So you don't say, yes, I'm Joe Bankston. So I wouldn't go to court and say, yes, I'm Joe Bankston, because their Joe Bankston is a corporation that's written in all caps. As a natural person, your name should, and grammatically speaking, your name shouldn't be written in all caps. So you don't agree to represent the corporate you. You challenge the jurisdiction of the court. There's a process to it. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't looked into it very much, but I watched some court cases of how they challenge it, and the shit works. They get tickets dropped, they get moving violations dropped, and there's a certain group of people that try to claim like the nation of Morocco, and they also get away with, like, if you look deep into America's history, there's something about this land that has something to do with Morocco, and like, they can live here under the laws of, or under the assumption that they're native Moroccans or from Morocco that used to be here before we were something weird. I didn't get into it. That's why I didn't really want to bring it up, but it's something there, and people they're mostly people of color, I want to say. I was adopted by a black man and a white woman, so my whole family's black and white. But these people, I don't know if they're not like African American. I don't know if they're Haitian, maybe from Morocco. I'm not sure, but yeah, they're people of color. They're dark skinned people, and they usually get off from this shit. And I've watched a lot of video of how they operate and how they get off, and it's very interesting. That was one of the things that I first seen that like really made me want to get into it. So, I mean, not coming from a bunch of knowledge about this, what do you think about all this? Like, how's it hitting you right now? Is it a lot? I know it's a lot because we had a slight conversation before the show. We always like to sit here and conversate for a little bit. But how is it like all the knowledge really hitting you? Like, I mean, does it seem legit to you? Are you perceiving it as real information, or you still, are you still miseducated? Are you still miseducated by the?
It makes absolute sense why they would do that.
We couldn't talk about it if it didn't make sense.
Why it's even a thing. And it's just mind blowing.
Big shot of Sailor with no mixer.
I did the same thing earlier.
It's okay, son. You put a little hair on your chest. Yeah. You need that every once in a while. And I got a little Coca-Cola that I'm mixing into the Sailor. I don't usually typically drink soda. It's been 8-9 years since I've had a soda pop beverage. Shit's just loaded with sugar. It's not fucking good for you. It makes you lazy. It's the acid in it is not good for the human body. The human anatomy is more alkaline. It goes from there's a pH level that represents your body, and the pH level goes from 1 to 14. 1 to 6.5 being acid, 6.5, 7 to 14 being alkaline. The human body comes in at 8. It's naturally alkaline, so you should have an alkaline diet. 90% of the food that people consume is acid-based. Meat, most rices, everything is acid-based. So get back to these alkaline diets.
It helped swallow this pill of the
whole nother episode.
Maritime law and the
for sure.
Law.
But I said a lot of shit, and I said a lot of facts, spoke a lot of facts, and
I know you're pretty passionate about this
for
too,
sure.
So
I want to get in. I want to read a statement that I wrote. This is actually from my lecture.
Yeah.
And I want to get into this because it explains the process of how your government uses you as trust and bonds and sells you on the stock market and uses you as collateral.
I think you should save some for your lecture. But
this is a few sentences from my lecture. So I'm gonna go ahead and start. All right. Once a state has registered a birth document with the U.S. Department of Commerce, the department notifies the Treasury Department, which then takes out a loan from the Federal Reserve. The Treasury uses the loan to purchase a bond. The Fed also holds a purchase security interest in that bond from the Department of Commerce. So they're getting paid like either way. All right. Which then invests the sales proceeds in the stock and bond market. The Treasury Department then issues Treasury securities in the form of Treasury bonds or common notes. And these are bills using bonds for security as your new securities, for surety as your new securities. So my new securities is this person that was born that I'm taking bonds out, and my notes, which being the birth certificate, are surety of these securities. It's going to be paid in some kind of tax revenue. So I mean, it's crazy to break it down to that's, but what it is, this is how they get the money. It's a cycle based on future tax revenue, and legal persons whose name appear on a birth certificate in all capital letters, the corporate you, the legal fiction you, the commonly known as Strawman you. And it just, what they do is the bankrupt corporate U.S. can basically guarantee to the purchaser of the securities the life, labor, and tax revenue of every citizen / American with a birth certificate for collateral of payment. All right, so what that means is legally, you and I are considered privately owned, a slave, or a product to various corporate and state and federal laws and communities via your state issued birth certificate, and that's with the name of your person's corporation, legal fiction, Strawman.
I have a question for you.
I got an answer for you.
Okay, so when you're born, they put this you have your birth certificate, which is basically a loan against you.
Yes, sir.
What happens if you were born, your parents signed this, but you only lived for a week?
You die, right?
Yeah.
Say
What
say
happens
you
when
die.
you die? In this.
In this instance, it's the same as a prison on death row, a prisoner on death row. It's the same. It's the same aspect. It's the same outcome. It's the same cycle. It's the same situation. It's the same techniques that they use. I don't know exactly the right words to call it, but let's say I kill you. I go to prison. I get sentenced to death. They don't. I get sentenced to death today. They're not gonna kill me tomorrow. Look this up. A lot of people that are sentenced to death, yeah, they sit on death row for multiple years. Why? Because you work for them, and they can't kill you because what you're doing is paying off the debt for the person that you killed. So the whole time you're on death row, you're working, you get money for that. You're not really getting money for it, but how state prisons work, they get a certain amount of monetary gain for every prisoner that they house to take care of that prisoner, to keep them healthy and alive as long as they need to be and working so they can get that money. Because if I kill you, I'm going to be convicted of your murder, but I'm going to sit on death row until I pay your debt. I work your debt off. That's why people sit on death row for so long, because they're working off the debt of the person that they killed. Once that debt is complete, everybody is liquid asset, has a monetary gain involved. Liquid asset, liquidated cash, cash flow. That's why it's called cash flow, because it's water, it's liquid capital. So you're working off that debt on death row, and the same thing applies if you die early. Your debt gets passed off to your parents, which legally signed you over to this legalese system. This maritime international Admiralty banking system, basically, is what we should call it. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, no, it does. I would say I'm going to do more research into this. Cause
everybody should. We encourage. That's what the show's about. We're rookies to this show. It's the first time we're doing a show like this. We like the idea of it. We like the idea of spreading knowledge and, I guess, helping people to awake more. Even if you go on and do more research and you know more shit than we do, that's good. But as long as we kind of help a few steps along the way of you waking up, that's what we're here for, and that's what we want to do.
Yeah.
So, I might know some things that I'm talking about that Brandon don't know. He might know some things that he wants to discuss that I don't know. But that's just going to encourage each other to do the research and look into it, and because we trust each other's judgment. So
yeah, and we always kind of like talking about this stuff, just and when we ever seen each other. So putting it out there and telling other people is just
for sure. And I wanted to, I guess I'll talk about the liquid capital, because that all is money terms. It's all water terms, which water I basically superseded common law and governs the land now. So it's all relative and has something to do with the same shit. So your legal name, which is used by the government to identify you, a body of water or liquid, like I was saying, is written in all capital letters because it's a piece of liquid capital.
And it's written with liquid ink.
With liquid ink. And not only that, it's been securitized to turn into like a financial instrument, hence the phrase liquidated capital. They're liquidating you at birth to be a capital for them, so to liquidate something is to sell off entirely or to sell off to pay a debt. That's what liquidated means, or liquidated capital. So, and that's what it is, because you are liquidated capital. The man or woman, like basically who has been securitized, when you're in your mother's womb, like I was saying earlier, which is basically made of mostly water or liquid, you're also made up of mostly water or liquid. And because you're mostly water or liquid, you have been securitized and you've been considered liquid capital. And like I was saying, that's how they take the money from you and get the loans. And the purpose of basically turning you into liquid capital is so the government, like I was saying, can sell your capital on the stock and bond market. It's basically to sell off the debt and to sell off the debt that Uncle Sam basically went into debt when they took a loan out for you for your birth certificate when you were born. And that's what sells off the debt. I mean, so liquidation is a term used by corporations for its shareholders. So that's what liquidation is. But
we're in debt, and we've been in debt for a long time, right?
The country, as a country,
there's no way to even pay all this shit off.
The nation's debt, I believe, is 22 trillion, 22 trillion. And we're going to do an episode about fractional banking system because that's how the Federal Reserve operates, fractional banking system. And anybody that has any common sense and ever look into fractional banking system, it's just a cycle of debt. They take let's say I'm a bank and he don't loan me. He deposits 100. So I take that $100 and loan it out 9 different ways. So the Federal Reserve is printing $900 more for each 100 that is deposited, and they send those $900 out as loans to other people that they have to pay back with interest. How are you going to pay it back with interest when the Federal Reserve creates all the money in circulation? You have to create more money to pay interest. Like, all right.
It's ass backwards.
It's a cycle to keep you in debt, and Kennedy knew it. He passed an act that's still active today, that any president can implement it, which is the act that was giving the government back its right to print its own money and taking all the rights from the Federal Reserve. And he said that he declared in 6 months the Federal Reserve will be bankrupt, and I think he was assassinated like a month later or some shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Every person who's kind of talked about that stuff has been like assassinated. Well, that's a whole nother episode too.
Didn't Bob Marley say in one of his songs, like, how long will we watch him take our profits while we sit back and do nothing? That was in his Redemption song or one of those songs.
Yeah. They don't want people knowing about that and looking into that.
And we want you to know. So if I fucking die tomorrow, I'm telling you the government killed me. If it was a fucking car accident, or maybe once I get 100,000 subscribers, they might target me. But as of right now,
we're pretty low on the list, I think.
Yeah, we're low on the totem pole. But I got Alexa right here next to me. She might be listening to me and recording shit. So they got it. They breaking it down before us. They already contacting Amazon and Spotify and iTunes and iHeartRadio and Apple Music, all that. Don't broadcast this podcast. It's too much for us. It's too much information.
Well, they're trying to shut all that stuff down on YouTube and things anyway.
This is an informational based podcast. So, I mean, if you think about it, to get back onto it,
educational purposes.
Most of us have been conditioned to think our legal names are who we are. In reality, they're not who we are, because each of us are a natural, living, human being, flesh and blood person. Names are not real people. Like I was telling you, names are not living, they're not breathing, they're symbols and they're legal terms. And this stems back from older language and older cultures that you can look into, and how the words mean something and translate into other languages to control you. And names are artificial persons, known as corporations. Like, look into it. So your legal name is basically a representation of the corporate you. So when you go to court, you can challenge the jurisdiction of the judge. Make sure you can ask the judge if he's operating as judge instead of banker. And you can look this up. There's court cases where people have done this. And basically, you can tell them that I'm not that name. I'm not a corporation written in all caps, but I am the legal representation of that corporation. So then you can conduct business with them without you, the natural person, being held accountable for that shit. There you go. But there's a lot more to it. I'm still researching on that part, and maybe we might come back with a part 2, or maybe y'all might have to wait for my lecture. I might post it, but
your little bank note here is responsible, not me. I'm a natural person. Your fucking birth certificate
for sure
is the one who.
Hey, that's what you got to tell them. But I mean, you'll find a lot of video of people trying to use this, and the judges try to hold them in contempt or try to shoo them out the room, and a bunch of other stuff going on. But that's what you'll find if you look for videos of it on YouTube.
Anything less? Like,
We'll know.
From a fucking judge in their
That's
courtroom
what you'll
and someone's
find.
throwing this shit at them.
That's what you'll find if you look for videos of it on YouTube and shit like that. But if you start researching court cases, like go to the library or wherever you got to go, independent media research, and you start looking up like the law or the state versus so and so, and you start looking up how they beat traffic stops and violations. A lot of people implemented this straw man strategy that I'm telling you about, and they challenged the jurisdiction, and they got these cases and these court traffics and violations dropped, and they used other cases that used this before as references to win their cases. So it's been around for a while, just a lot of people don't know about it.
Damn, who was the first judge who got fucking stumped with that shit?
I know, and judges they're fucking tight asses. They don't like being. They think they're a judge.
Yeah,
you can't prove them wrong.
Right.
You're never right when it. They're used to always being superior authority in the courtroom, but that's what sovereignty is. It gives you superior authority over your own individual person. And Ron Paul, like I was saying, that when he ran for president, his whole campaign was end the Fed. Basically the same thing that Kennedy was doing, but they didn't need to kill Ron Paul because he wasn't president. He didn't have power. All they did was dead him in the media. They spent a lot of money to get him the media silenced him.
His campaign.
Even when he was, I believe the first two states was like New Hampshire or whatever, he won by a fucking landslide. Like he was winning by 70-80%, but CNN and Fox News, they presented it as he was at like third or fourth. Even though technically on the polls he was winning, they killed his momentum. Like they know strategies like that. They've been doing it forever.
If they want to bury something, they'll bury it.
For sure.
The media's controlled by,
for sure, and that's the luxury of having the information. Like John Mayer said, when you hold the information, they can bend it all they want, and that's very true. Information, history just meaning his story. You can go to the for sure, and you can go to the libraries to check his story. But what is the library? Just lies buried.
His story.
History, break it down. So you can go to the library to check his history, but not only that, not only can you go to the library to check history or his story, but you can go to the library to check lies that are buried. I mean, it's legalese. These terms were set up like that. Whether they wanted you to catch on to them or whether they needed them that way because it was code, this shit ain't by accident. This shit ain't by coincidence. This shit is things I've known about for years now and I've been looking into, and I wish I had a little bit more research on certain of the aspects of the topic. But I think I did a pretty good job covering it and trying to convince y'all to, if don't not believe me, look into it, because
you just fucked me up with that history thing.
his story, library, lies buried. Like, come on,
it is someone's story. Where did we get that info? Some guy wrote that down. Who knows if that?
And what they said, said how they say it. The winners write the history. The winners write history.
Winners write history. Yeah.
And who's winning? Look who's winning. If you're talking about in this world that we live in the age we live in, and you're talking about winning, so to be on top, you have to be super financially stable. If you're financial wealth, you're winning. If not, you're poor, you're broke, you're losing. So who's winning? These fucking Jewish motherfuckers are winning. These fucking bankers, these fucking banking cartels. There's a central bank in every country except for North Korea and Cuba, and I believe Iran. 3 countries that don't have natural banks. Now,
I think Iran is now, though.
It's close to be, because we got. Yeah. It's not. I think that's false news. I think that's fake news. I think Iran's close, but we haven't went in there yet. We haven't went in there and took it yet.
Name those 3 ones again.
Iran, North Korea, and Cuba.
And who are we always at war with, or we're always invading and always fucking with?
Those 3, because that's who we want now. We've been looking at Cuba since Operation Northwoods or whatever in the 50s and 60s and shit. That were all right. And look at today's date of the Korean news. You see them in CNN or the news every other fucking week or something about North Korea. And I mean, look, if we don't have Iran, but we're gonna have it, and if we are, I might be mistaken. Somebody comment and let me know if I am. But the thing is, this is how we don't have Iran, because that's what the invasion of Iraq was, and that's what the invasion of Afghanistan. You know what's in the middle, directly in the middle of Afghanistan and Iraq? Afghanistan, Iraq, Afghanistan. You know what's here? Iran. We have now military presence in both of those countries, which they try to say we withdrawn from Afghanistan, but we still have bases and embassies there. We have launching pads on both sides. They're going to have to submit or they're going to fucking get ran through and ran over just like everybody else is. And what the country might do is they might build up. Maybe there is a noble resistance in that country. There's a noble revolution taking place where these people are being destroyed by their government and they're really fighting back because they love their families. So the American government takes advantage of those people. They go in, they arm them, they brainwash them using fucking MK Ultra and Nazi techniques into fighting and doing these certain things. And that's how you get Al Qaeda. And ISIS and certain groups like that was from people we trained, and that's facts. You could look it up.
You forgot one more, North Korea.
North Korea was the 3 that I named. What are you talking about?
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
Iran.
Iran, North Korea, and Cuba.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
So those were the 3 that I named, and yeah, those are the only 3 places that don't have a central bank right now, and. But every central bank in America is every central bank in the world is ran and owned by the same bank that owns the Federal Reserve, the same people.
The same family.
Which go back to the Knights Templar, the Illuminati, the Masons, all that.
It's all connected.
But Admiralty law is something that definitely needs to be looked into. It definitely needs to be researched. It affects everybody, whether they don't. Excuse me. We've been conditioned not to look into this. We've been conditioned to this. It's such normal because it's everyday life that it's something you never question. And it's like your name. They've been calling you your name from birth, so you don't question, is this who I really am? But this is like your name was conceived while you were in the womb. Your parents probably had your name. But this idea was conceived before you were born. And it applied to you, no matter, even though you wasn't thought of and your parents ain't even met each other, but this idea was there way before you and applied to you as soon as you were born, just like your name. So it's been with you since birth, since you don't know anybody better to question it or look into it. It's been normal. Like when I was younger, I've been through foster systems, and I didn't question. To me, it was normal that if your environment ain't good, they come and take you. I wasn't young enough to comprehend and understand how could they take you from your family. How do they have that right? I didn't even know about rights at that time. I was too young. But it's crazy when you look at it from that aspect that they can come and take your kids. And that's because your birth certificate is unwillingly submitting yourself and lowering your rights as a human to that of a corporation, which then they can conduct maritime law with you and rule over you, have jurisdiction over you. It's fucking nuts, bro.
It is nuts.
Yeah, for sure.
Look into it, guys. I'm telling you, it'll blow your mind. How blatantly they throw this shit in your face too with the words.
Yeah. Once you know the information and you look at it, it's a clear picture of what's going on. If you don't know the information, you can't look at it. It's actually way harder to see. So.
For sure.
But then again, that's what this podcast is about waking up. It's level 1 woke. It's the first step to waking up, even if we start with the minor shit, baby steps. But at the very least, we're presenting information to people that, had no idea about this information. And we're trying to get it out there to you. So
give some knowledge.
Yeah, for sure. So basically, in a nutshell, Admiralty law is the law of the water. It governs any product, merchant, or sale or commerce over the water. Land laws are called common laws or civil laws, which some of civil laws still apply. And then they basically the Admiralty law, the law of the high seas of the water, superseded the law of the land in an act called 1871, the Act of 1871, which gave the District of Columbia its own government, and that established a corporation called the United States of America Corporation, which then in turn dubbed everybody an employee of America, which are citizens. So every citizen is an employee of this company. Every employee has a president and a vice president like America does. Your straw man, is your birth certificate in all capital letters, any legal document, social security card, identification card, driver's license, all capital letters. It's the corporate you. It's not real. Corporate coming from the word corpse, meaning dead, because it's not real. It ceased to exist in a material form. It's just paper form, and that's all it is, and that's all it means. And these Admiralty laws were implemented over land via ships, and ships dealing with their captain meaning capital, meaning liquid capital, cash flow. Just like where do you find a bank? On a river, right? On each side of the river there's river banks. And what do river banks do? They control the currency. You're considered currency. So these river banks control the liquid current cash flow. That's why there's a term called cash flow. Everybody knows that. I got the cash flow. Mm-hmm. It's no reason. Like I was saying, it's not coincidence that this wordplay is set up like it. And the ship comes into the harbor, through the canal, and it ports. It shows a manifestation of documentation to the port owner of why it's there and what it has. And it's the same thing when you come through your mother's birth canal. You're birthed from water. When your mother waters break, your bodies are made up of mostly water. You come through the birth canal to the dock to the doctor, and then he signs the documentation on what you weigh, how specifications on you. Just like when a ship docks with merchandise, it has to document the specification of what's on there. And they take out bonds, they take out loans from the Federal Reserve, based on each citizen's birth certificate. They take out loans, and they sell these loans on the stock and bond markets. And these loans are paid off by us as we work and we pay our taxes. Basically is paying off the collateral that Uncle Sam borrowed from us, because Uncle Sam is still bankrupt and still in debt. We're $22 trillion in debt. We've been bankrupt since 1933. And it wasn't no coincidence that we went bankrupt that year. Like I was saying, it's a Masonic year. Look into it. It's a, Masonic occultism, occult simply meaning hidden or secret. That's really what occult means. And that's how they operate. There's some twisted fucks. They fucking been twisted for a long time. They probably know something we don't know, because how could you be so fucking they probably know there's no consequences for their actions, because how could you be so fucking evil and not think you're gonna, like, something's gonna happen because of this? Like, you're gonna pay for this shit. They must know that we're not gonna pay for this shit. Either that or they're fucking really lunatics and they don't care.
We're not gonna pay for this shit after we die, you mean? Like, there's no consequences, like, how you live?
Pure energy. Our energy moves on because the solar system don't waste energy. But even if we go to another dimension and relive as another person or reincarnated and whatever, but
this whole law, looking into it, just kind of puts you yourself in perspective. It makes you just
as a natural person and a corporation.
Yeah. Good work, man. That was cool.
Yeah, it's definitely some shit to look into. It's definitely some shit I believe that we all should have some common knowledge about. And I mean, it's just leading to other things. They're passing more laws. They're taking more liberties or privileges away. There's a fucking camera on every street corner, and what y'all think is freedom is not freedom. We're not free. We have certain liberties, but our liberties are even getting narrow and narrow through the name of through the name of national defense, through the name of terrorism. Let's have a war on terrorism. Why? Because a war on terrorism is basically like a war on drugs. They created a war on drugs because it will never end, because they're distributing the drugs. Terrorist is the same way. The war on terrorism will never end. We've been on a war against terrorism since 2001. It will never end, because like they create the drugs and give them to us, they create the terrorists too. So the shit will never end. Yeah, and the shit will never end.
To being a natural human.
Natural human beings and sovereignty. Fuck everything else. Fuck the corporate you. But yeah, guys. We hope you enjoyed the episode. We hope you got a little information, a little bit of knowledge from what we brought here today. And stay tuned because we got some more interesting things coming next. Our next episode will be about the assassination of Kennedy, President Kennedy. We actually might have a flat earth one that we might slide in there before because we got a special guest. But if it's not flat earth, it will definitely be the assassination of President Kennedy.
Yeah, one of those two coming.
Yeah, something else. We got a little, information we want y'all to investigate and look into with us. Give us feedback via Facebook, via Instagram, YouTube, email. We'll have all that information provided and links on the video. So, yeah, happy podcasting.
See ya.
Peace.